I can.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the final episode of Season 3 Detour Essentials Live. And also, it's our 1 year anniversary. Officially tomorrow, but we're celebrating today because, we're previous. And we wanted to make sure that we actually get to celebrate with all of you. So welcome to Emerge Detour Essentials Live. This is episode, I don't even know, but it's the last one in season 3. And we'll take a quick break and then we'll be back again with season 4 with all new guests, new stories, new exciting things to share. So for those joining us for the first time, welcome to Emerge. And for our regular Emergers, we're so happy that you're here to be a part of our 1 year anniversary celebration. So as usual, we'd love to know in the chat where you're joining us from. We like to know where you guys are joining us from because we always have people from Jamaica, the US, London. I hope Loretta is joining us again from London tonight, since it is our 1 year anniversary. And it's going to be a super special episode because we're actually going to be doing a live vision boarding activity with all of you tonight. So that should be a lot of fun. We're going to show you how some of ours have worked for us and some of the things that we do to keep it exciting. And Rochelle is going to lead us with that because she is the master. I actually participated in a great one at her house in 2019. I still have my vision board from that event and it was so good. So I'm going to do a quick introduction because we want to make sure that for those joining us for the first time, you know who we are. And so, hey, out there. Oh, I missed everybody too. As you saw, I tried to join in at the end. It was just one of those days, guys. And, we tried to balance, but I really wasn't balancing on that day. I had to make a choice. But I'm very, very happy to be here today. Catherine seems to be off screen for a minute. Oh, she's back. So I'll go right into introduction. So, guys, I'm New
York and Toronto, though, now.
Oh, hi, Lorianne from Toronto. Heidi's here from Kingston. Emerging with the Trios from season 1, episode 1. Thank you.
We see Linda from Queens, New York.
Linda from Queens.
Guitar Mayon.
You need to know how to pronounce that, right? It's Guitar Mayon. I wish you could, he or she could send like a voice note or something. So make sure we don't mess up the name. Hi, Alicia.
Alicia, are you home?
Kimberly. So guys,
is here, guys.
So you know that because it's our anniversary, right? I had to break out the sequins, right? Because nothing says celebration like sequins. So that's why I'm, looking like this sparkly and to hopefully make up for not being there last week. So I had to pull out all the stops today. I was trying to do this episode without wearing my glasses, but I honestly cannot see. So I had to put them on. Thank God they're black, so it kind of matches the look and feel tonight. So guys, if you're joining for the first time, I am Naomi Garrick, also known as the PR chick. I'm the founder of a boutique PR agency here in Jamaica. And I am also a personal branding coach and brand strategist. And essentially, I just help individuals and brands to stand out in a noisy world by really getting clarity on who they are, what they do, what's their unique value. And then, of course, the best way for them to communicate it to their ideal audience, whoever that may be.
Well, thank you, Nai. I am Kathy Goodall. I am a connector of brands, businesses, and people. And I'm also the co-founder of Redefine Business Services, which is a boutique consultancy that's focused on processes, marketing. And of course, I'm a part of the Emerge Trio. So welcome. We're happy to have you.
Hi, everybody. Now, after your introduction, I want to say my name is Rochelle Cameron, and I know Naomi Garrick.
You can still say that. You can still say that. I'll take it.
And I know Naomi Garrick. Good night, everyone. I am Rochelle Cameron. I am the CEO and founder of Prescient Consulting Services, a firm that provides legal communications, particularly crisis and corporate communications, as well as people development matters. I love people development. So I am getting to do the things that I love to do, and then I get to be a part of the Emerge Trio. So that's like the icing on the cake. I couldn't ask for more.
And if you know us, you know that we actually say the Emerge Trio and not Trio. So I have to say it.
So Murray says, my little sister, you know, Mar, Tyann, hey guys, Norma Del, Auntie Norma.
Hi, Auntie Norma Del.
So now, one of the things that we had discussed at the outset of the year, you know, you always have a thing for whatever year. Last year was your birthday year, and this year you have a particular like phrasing in how you described how you would approach things this year. And we thought it would be good to start out with that, because one of the things is in setting just your general intention, sometimes you have to have like a motivating tagline, a word that is driving you. What was your word? And tell us some more about it.
Awesome. So when I'm planning for the year, I do a couple of different things. Sometimes I'll do a vision board, but I'm using the same vision board that I had from 2019 because it's still very relevant to where I am and where I'm still trying to go right now in 2021. But what I also do is I do almost like a year in review. So I like to look back at the year that was before I actually even start looking at what I want to do in the year that is. So I can kind of see if there's still goals that I want to achieve, or if there are things that are not really important to me anymore based on what happened throughout the year. So I'll change some of those things or see if there are things to add. But what I like to do at the start of the year is I like to choose a word or a phrase to represent how I want to show up in that year. And so last year it was all in. So I wanted to be all in with everything that I was doing, with work, with relationships, with just whatever project I did, I wanted to be all in. COVID happened. A lot of all-ins did not happen. However, for this year, 2021, for me, the word was possibility. So it's my year of possibility, of trying new things, of being open to new things, and realizing that everything is possible if you take the steps that are necessary to achieve whatever it is that you want. So I'm very open to possibility. And then I try to, because I know that's a theme that's actually guiding my year, I look for possibility in everything. And I surround myself with things that remind me about the year as well, whether it's through my journaling, or I set intentional quotes, or I put things around my space to remind me about what this year is. So that if I get off track, or if I feel, particularly this year, things are not possible, it's a reminder to me that all things are possible this year, and I'm in a year of possibility.
Ah, I love that. Because, you know, we were all in with you and we jumped into the possibility. So my word was yes, because it was to open myself to yes and possibilities. What am I going to say that for? Because, you know, again, it is the manifestation of you putting forward intentions. And sometimes we are subconsciously afraid to say things like possibility, because we are afraid of what that will mean. That the possibilities will come and we'll have to be open to them. So these opportunities that we are visioning, when we put these words and phrases out, we also have to just open ourselves to these possibilities. What about you, Kat?
Mine is intention. Being intentional about everything, because you know me, I get caught up doing things all the time, and if somebody calls me, I get distracted and I want to jump in and help that person. And so it's really being intentional about the things that I want to accomplish and making sure that I actually do them.
Yeah. And I like how you just with your brevity, you're like intentional, and that's actually it. So tonight,
you know what, Rush? I know that we're going to be going into all of these amazing vision boarding activities, but because it's our 1 year anniversary, I would love to ask our audience that's been with us through the 3 seasons, and even the ones that have just started following us, if you have a favorite episode or favorite episodes, and share it in the chat. We'd love to know what were some of your highlights for the year with Emerge Detour Essentials. And I'll go ahead and also ask our trio, what was your favorite episode or a memorable episode, because we've had so many amazing people, amazing messages, so many gems and so many notes. So I'd love to hear, what were some of your most memorable moments on Emerge Detour Essentials live over the last year?
So, for me, the first episode when we had Andrea come in and she said to be kind. And I said, wow, it's so simple yet so profound. Just one way to get through all the madness of what is happening is to be kind. Be kind to ourselves, be kind to each other. And that has stayed with me from last year until now. Kitty, for sure, I think is everybody. We had a hilarious time, But yeah, I mean, it's just been so many.
There have been so many, guys. So when I was thinking about it, I was like, why did I even ask this question? Because I'm trying to think. I know for me, Chris Willie was one of my favorites. And I see that Tan also has that there too. That one was one of our best episodes. And we did promise Chris that season 4, we will give him the opportunity to interview us on the show.
We're not ready.
We're not doing it?
We're not ready.
We're not, okay. But we are ready to emerge. We must be ready. But Chris Willie was really, really great. Another one that stood out for me, which I didn't expect, was Ryan Reed as well. I really, really enjoyed his. I enjoyed the Mitchells.
Yeah.
Fun. Miss Kitty was absolutely hilarious.
Yendi was also very, memorable. Yeah, definitely a turn that we never even knew we were going to go down.
We've had so many amazing guests on this show. It's really hard to pick a favorite.
Yes, and Garfine, Heidi says.
Yes, I probably need to go back through again and look at who we've had. I mean, even when Lysandra was on, and Lysandra was in this season, and when she went into, even, not just looking for the soul career, but something as simple as understanding your personality profile. And how that can help to shape, your future, your career choices, everything. Janelle says Dean Shepherd, because he seemed very genuine, and Lysandro, because the personality test was so fascinating to me. Yes, that was great. So guys, if you remember any, and then Rochelle, we'd love to hear.
I actually don't have a favorite episode. And I went back through, I was looking back through who we've had. And everybody was, I was like, oh, but I love this one. I know this one is really good. I think for me, every week, when some people, like one of us will know, or all 3 of us will know, and we will know them in particular settings. And it's just amazing that you start off with a particular perception, and it's like a revelation of just the layers that people are, And so every week we sit too. It's not like because we don't rehearse these interviews. We actually don't give a lot of detail of even the questions we will ask, and the things just happen organically, And so I went through the posters, the flyers that we would do. I went through so many things, and I was like, I don't know what my favorite episode is.
So a couple just popped up in my head a while ago.
Miss Kitty had the gratitude jar that you wrote you wrote what you're grateful for, and you put some money in it, and send me with my gratitude jar, yeah, with money.
Wow. So you know what? So Esther just reminded us about Gordon and Kamisha Swaby, really good as well in terms of power couple. But actually, they just started flooding to me. So the 50 and Fabulous that we had to do 2 episodes.
Yes.
Good. And then, of course, we had the Superwoman Shorbell 2 weeks ago, and hers. It was amazing. There's so many. Adam Stewart. And how can we forget the Grand Dame Novia McDonald White, who was in season 1?
Exactly.
That was a masterclass right there.
Remember our session with Richie D?
And we had a party. We had a party with Richie D.
Last night was his 1-year anniversary for Richie D live.
Yes. We should have had him on again today. We should have had a little after party again. We weren't thinking, guys. We weren't thinking.
Oh,
Lorian says, Chris Willie, my brother, introduced me to you. Although I gag as his sister, I really enjoyed his session too. So many amazing sessions, guys. Love them all. Lorian.
we'll pray for you, Lorian.
Remember the episode with Angeli, Michelle,
Yes.
and Mel?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that was hot.
I'm sure it motivated many. And then I thought about the episode with the cancer thrivers as well.
Yes.
That was with Taro, Naja, Stacy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Guys, first of all, so if you're hearing some of these for the first time, you know what's coming up tomorrow. Work ends at 12, and we have a long, lovely weekend all the way until Monday. You can binge watch every single episode, guys. We have 3 seasons for you to take your time and watch all the episodes and relive the memories if you want to relive the memories too.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to rewatch some of them myself.
Oh, thank you, Michael. Michael says he likes the way that the guests are real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what always jumps out, that you always pray that the platform can continue to be one that people just feel very comfortable. But guys, the emergers and the way you guys engage with us and engage with our guests and ask questions and big them up and laugh and just jump in with your commentary, so people actually feel it. And I think it really makes a difference. Janelle misses the book recommendations.
Okay, so we're
All right,
definitely
so
going to
bring that back for season 4.
Yeah.
And I'm reading some good ones right now.
Yeah.
Katie says she loves the one with Terry Curl. With Terry, you remember Terry and Garfield?
Yeah.
We
had some amazing people on our show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So guys, let me tell you, we've got a season 4 coming up there that is cannot be missed. None that.
We have a new partner.
Are we allowed to announce that right now? Not yet, guys. We will announce. We'll make the big announcement leading up to season 4. But yes, we do have a new exciting partner on board.
That big, that is like Bushman.
To make things even more exciting.
Set on there. So Janelle put out, I missed the book recommendations, and she gives us the eye. Alicia, don't leave it. Yes, I missed the book recommendation. There is Alicia. Yes, me too.
Hi, Kinoy.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we are gonna start back the book recommendations. As a matter of fact, what we can do in our newsletter that will go to announce season 4, we can already include some of our favorites that we're reading for 2021 to kickstart that. Okay? Yeah.
By the way, I want to say everybody.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna turn off my camera and I'm gonna give you a book recommendation right now.
Okay. I got to see and meet Lansdale this week, and I'm so excited about that. I'm walking at Pulse, and I hear somebody say, Kathy. So I turn around and I look, and then he comes out to the car, mask on and everything, and he says, it's Lansdale. My entire day was made at that point. I was so excited. Esther, I hope you got my message. Yes, so I'm so happy. It's so great when we actually get to see and meet you guys in real life. It's wonderful.
Oh, see, Kamoy said just drop the new one. Yeah. And we're going to have an exciting guest on in our next season who actually does a lot of book recommendations. I'm reaching her out because I follow her too a lot because she just does a wide range of recommendations. And, guys, even with the book recommendations, one of the things we have talked about too is that we didn't want it to just be that everything was about, self-improvement and so. Because sometimes, like all the long weekend I come up, I want a good love book. Because sometimes you want a love book, So So we
Yes.
wanted to also, so even as you find great novels that you want to share, you know, some that really touch us and stuff, some that just make us die with laugh. We want them to want you to share it.
So
Now
I,
you're
so yeah, that's me
Canada.
too. I have to break up the serious books with like some foo-foo books. They're like my rom-com books, right? Love them. So after reading something heavy, I kind of read one that I can read in like a day, and then I go back to something heavy. So
Yeah.
I have two book recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
One is Think Like a Monk, which I literally just finished reading last week. Let me put it up right. Jay
Just
Shetty,
ordered it.
awesome. Now, if you
I
know
just
me,
ordered it.
any book that I read has tabs, highlights, all kinds of things in there because that's how I read. So Think Like a Monk, Jay Shetty, it's awesome. And the one I'm reading now, which is super cool, is Believe It by Jamie Kern Lima. So I actually got to meet Jamie when I went to Brendan Burchard's influencer conference in October 2019. She was one of the speakers, and we met her before we realized she was a speaker. Super cool. That was her first time speaking on a public platform. She's actually the founder of It Cosmetics. And this is something that she started because she had really bad rosacea and skin conditions, and she couldn't find makeup that could fit her skin type without stripping or showing the stuff. And so she created her own makeup with no money. And so her whole journey is in here. And her company got bought for I don't know how many $billions. But she's a billionaire now. So her story is pretty impressive. So it's all in here, Believe It. So if you're looking for a good inspirational book, how to go from underestimated to unstoppable, this is it. This is my weekend read, guys. Yeah. So there you got. You got two book recommendations. Just like that.
You mentioned that particular recommendation, Nai, because you know sometimes even as we're setting our own intentions and we're doing our vision boards and stuff, sometimes we need that extra little inspiration from other people's lives.
Yeah, man.
Things can sometimes you need to see that it can actually be done, so it opens you a little bit more to your actual doing it.
And she writes the way she talks, so it's very like you feel like you're talking to like your friend. That's what you feel as you're reading the story, the book.
So you know, so me write them down too, because I
ordered the Jay Shetty book.
Yeah.
And guys, you know, we're big fans of Audible as well. So you can always download the Audible, and they are the narrators for their books. So that's always, perfect. Equally awesome.
Yeah. And guys, remember Audible, sometimes even as you are working out, which is on my vision board this year, at some point this year, I'm going to start it. Sometimes instead of working out to music, you can actually work out to a book. I've found it the few times I've worked out, I've found it very helpful.
Or when you're driving.
Yeah. Well, driving go weird though.
So like, for example, I'm listening to, well, I love to drive, right? And I drive to Negril whenever I get the opportunity. But now I'm listening to Barack Obama's book because it's a pretty big book. Sometimes my brain just can't manage that. And he narrates it. So I'm just listening to my friend Barack in the car.
Yeah,
so I listen to that book instead of reading that book, even though I have the physical copy as well, because I just have to. That's just how I am. But I'm listening to his book currently.
Yeah. So guys, I think we have most people on now, and I hope you are ready. And again, no pressure. So this whole vision boarding concept, I know some people are on just to kind of see what it's about. I would do that too, because I was always a little skeptical. My process was I would write down the things. So I would write them as very, very specific in things that I wanted to achieve. And I always had it like an accounting, like carry forward. So I would, every year I would look to see what are the things that are carried forward. Now, some of you are like vision board people, experts, you have doctorates in vision boards. The vision board I'm still working with, that my main board is from 2017. And I tried to carry it down, but the things are like, I have to try and paste them back on because the things start dropping off. I couldn't get them off of where I had put it because it's there as a daily reminder. And at a time too that I found that I was just thinking big because some of the things I had to hide from them for a little while. Now, tonight, what we're going to do is, even if you have done a vision board session before, just kind of like sometimes we have to dust them off. I will look upon some of them and we say, maybe we could have made this one a little bigger. Or you have some spaces on it that at the time you weren't ready for that conversation with your own self. So you did just put 3 things on it. Tonight, some people's boards may be full. Some people will have 1 thing. Some people are like, they have to go away. The board that I'm working with now, I went to the session and I just couldn't get going. And I came home and sat in the middle of a passageway with some magazines. And I swear, in like 12 minutes, I had the things down because they were just kind of bubbling in my head. It was a little scary putting them down and pasting them. So my vision board ain't pretty. It don't so ordered. So even the way that you see, I was putting it nice and ordered. Mine don't look like that. It's very chaka. But I know every single thing on it. I know where everything is positioned. And as I get close to achieving the things, like I remember the thing on it, and we say, oh. And let me tell you about manifestation. I'll give you an example. That vision board I did while I was still working fully in corporate. I'm now in business of my own and I do a lot of work with corporate. But I was in corporate and didn't have any major aspirations for entrepreneurship. But I didn't realize I did actually have aspirations for entrepreneurship, because when I look at a section of the board, it is about entrepreneurship. I mean, every aspect, but I had blocked it out. Until now, I see the things. I do a lot of work with small businesses. And funnily enough, there is a line on it that says small business maven. And it was just, I looked back at it recently and I was like, what is that wording there that I had put there? And that's what it says. So some of the things I do believe it is things that are floating in our head. Some of the things are prophetic, but it is your vision board. There is no excusing, meaning you don't have to explain it to nobody. It don't have to pretty like other people own. It can have 3 things because that's the 3 things you're working on. The one that I had for last year was very focused on my business. And one of the things was just a picture of an office space. And I'd been on a search for this office space. COVID came and I ended up creating it right at my house, looking just the way I had visioned it.
She's in her office space right now, guys. That's her fabulous office space that she built at her house.
But you see how these things happen. So it is that you are in setting out the vision. And what I do find, because I'm very scientific and I have my methods. So in vision boarding, I'm like, I have my method already. I don't need no vision board because I got my method and my method's been working. But what I found is when I was actually just putting even pictures of the things, I was seeing it a lot clearer. So I still start out with setting down the things that I wanted to do. And then I move into what does that image of it look like? What does it look like? Because you know that's when you actually get very committed to the thing, especially too when nobody else understands what that photo is. You get it, you have it pictured in your head, and you're moving towards it. Vanessa, we're so glad to have you. You're new, you started watching the other day.
And Rush, can I add something to that? So
yes,
just so that people understand how vision boards work, because I do think people get very excited about the process of creating the vision board and looking for the pictures and putting them out. And I know you're going to go through the importance of intention as you're doing it. But just to show, it's not a magic board that, just put the pictures and things just happen, right? Which is kind of what some people think. But the thing is that sometimes you put the pictures and things happen. But let me tell you why that's happening. So there's actually a part of your brain that's called the RAS, the Reticular Activating System. And that's actually what tells your brain what to focus on every single day. So, every day you're bombarded by all these messages and just so many things and so many thoughts that you're processing. And so if you don't train your brain by telling it what to focus on, it's just going to focus on whatever it wants. And a vision board helps you to basically put a graphical representation of some of the things that you want or what you're trying to achieve or how you want to feel or words you want to be associated with on something that you can see visually. And a simple example is, you go to, we finally decided that you're going to buy what you believe is your dream car, right? And you hadn't decided on the color yet. You walk into ATL, for example, and you decide you're going to get this tangerine colored Tiguan because you don't see anybody with that color car in Kingston. So you want to be the only person with the tangerine Tiguan, and everybody is going to know it's you. And it's almost like the minute you make that decision and, you know, drive out of ATL, all of a sudden you're seeing orange Tiguan on Hope Road, orange Tiguan in Ligani, orange Tiguan in Manor Park. It's everywhere. And it's not that it wasn't there before, but your brain was never looking for it. And that's kind of how vision boards work. So when you do them, you kind of want to put it somewhere where you can actually see it, so that it's reminding your brain, hey brain, these are the things I want to achieve. This is what I'm focusing on. So even my vision boards, they are literally facing, except my TV's here, there are 4 vision boards right here beside them, all down the wall. People coming into my room may be like, whoa, what's happening here? But I need that because I need to remember what I'm working towards. And sometimes when I have the time, I will literally walk to the vision board, I will say the words out loud, and I'll take my time and I'll look at every single picture that's there to kind of get it to really stick in my brain that, hey, remember, we still want to do these things, or we still want to feel this way. So we still have work to do, so I can look for the opportunities. So I kind of just want to give that context. So people don't just think that, you know, we have this board and we're being intentional and then we put the pictures and then that's it. You have to do the work as well, right? Vision boards take work after you create the vision boards.
And but there is the work, but there is also that sometimes, which is why even the setting of the vision board, sometimes we don't put the things that we are actually visioning because we're afraid of them. Because the same vision board that I'm telling you about, I had it hidden behind a door for 2 years because the things that were on it were just a little too overwhelming for me, including Christian was on it. And it was just a little too overwhelming because it wasn't in my headspace at the time. And I'm like, why are you even thinking about these things? And if you put it out, it's going to make it potentially real. Yeah. What happened is one day it fell off the door that I put it behind. And I just took it up and put it in the bathroom because I said, I must have to go bathroom every day. So let me put it in the bathroom that I can see it. But I also secretly put it in there hoping that nobody else, like too many people, wouldn't be seeing it and questioning it. No, so I want us to also be able to talk about that part, that it's not like, you know, all the time we do it and we're like, you know, willing to put it up. And sometimes we hide from our own dreams and we hide from those visions because sometimes it is overwhelming. But it's like you've got to even start and feel your feelings. You have to feel away. You got to feel away. Yeah. Then you're able to progress. But one of the things that I found is I couldn't progress from that vision board because there were so many things on it that were my dreams. And I was afraid. And I put up everybody, you know, night vision. No, night show them on your vision board.
So this is the one I did that with Rochelle in 2019. And I mean, there's so many things, but Rochelle worked through her. Look what's even on there, guys. Emerge. Okay. This was before we had our first conference. By woman, for woman, will impact. Empowered something. Oh, empowered woman, empower woman. So those were all my things on the Emerge. So I had different sections. This is my fitness goals. This Naomi Campbell. Want to have Naomi Campbell legs. Healthy eating. I just want to be the best. This is a pregnant Halle Berry, but I put the number 2 because I would like to have 2 more children. Rochelle thinks I'm going to have twins. Maybe. But I put that there. That's my son because I really wanted to focus and spend more time with him. Guess what? Spend lots of time together. So check. family affair. This is my money side. So it has like 0 debt, wealth management, and a of course, I started investing in the stock market over the last 2 years. So, and that has done very well for me. Clearing my debt still. Gratitude, joy, because Rochelle said we needed to use a picture that when we see it, we feel joy. And that's why I chose this picture. And that's why joy is at the top. And I also put ready when I am, because that's super important. And then this is my love section, which is so important for me. So it says my whole heart, keep calm and marry on. New season. There's a big love going down here. I have a picture of a happy couple and it says, this is the biggest love I've ever felt. So I'm very, very intentional with what I put on my vision board, and then travel. Still haven't done this yet, but want to go with my son to Africa so we can go to Giraffe Manor. And I also have a first class ticket because I would like to only be traveling first class in the very near future. Thank you so much.
Great job.
Thank you, Nai. So I see Alisa said that vision board is a goal. Guys, share with us in the chat if you have done vision boards before, if you have one that you are currently like, that's your board, that you're working with. If tonight is the first time you're even contemplating doing a vision board, let's hear what's happening. Kat, let's go to some slides. Go to the second slide.
You did it, Kat.
Yes.
Guys, we won't even try to pretend that we are technologically savvy, and we were trying to figure this out earlier. So that's awesome, Kat. Good job.
No, and guys, let me tell you, I just sent the slides to Kat, and I was just like, wow, somebody here's got to figure it out. It's not going to be me at all. Esther Gale says she's been doing them for 5 years. Esther Gale, I can tell. So one of the things is that it helps you to set your vision board, even if you end up having them all over the place, but for you to kind of focus on some areas, because sometimes we're not so sure, what we should be putting on the vision board. So this is just a guide. You may have other areas, but just a guide for you as you're thinking through how you'd like to place your vision board, but also what you'd like to do. She says, I still have that one I did with you a few years ago, Rush. Yes, Alicia. Tian, yes. Mine is tucked away in my guest room, but we'll be retrieving it now. Thank you very much, Tian.
Good job.
I can't even see you, so go for it now, please. So we actually start with wealth, and you can start on any side, but I'm just starting with the side that I'm looking on first, with wealth. One of the things with wealth is asking yourself the question in terms of what I will earn as, and I like to frame it, if I am a business, so whether or not I work with people, I own my own business, what kind of revenue would I like to bring in? Like that's what kind of pay, when you think about the revenue, what kind of money I would like to earn. But then we like to break it out. There are two things I do. One, I say, what is my actual net profits going to be after them expenses come out? Because, sometimes you will earn a big money, but the expenses get bigger than that you're earning. And secondly, I ask myself, because I tithe and I had struggled. I always talk about the struggle I had with understanding that it was 10% of your gross earnings, the gross part, not the net part, the gross part that you must tithe. And I was like, Jesus, I know you never expect like that. I mean, we got bills. You and I know, Jesus, that we got bills. So when I went through my own struggle and I went through the Bible to understand tithing, I was like, it cannot be it must be net after you pay our bills. I always ask myself, 10% of what gross earnings am I going to tithe? And for those of you who are from like New York City and United Kingdom, and those who are from Jamaica, let's think hard currency. Our currency is hard, but anytime you have a currency that is so colorful, it's usually not worth a lot. You notice the US is green, it does green. So
Green and green.
that's great. So
Roshi, I think it's important for everybody to remember too that you can do a vision board for yourself, but you can also do the vision board for your business. We did one for Emerge, exactly like this.
Yeah. No, that's very important.
And you can have different ones for different things. So, like, I have one specifically for Garrett Communications as well. I have one specifically for travel. I have one that's specifically for love. So you can have one central one with different things, or you can have ones that are specific to different areas of your life, like any one of these areas that Rochelle is talking about right now too.
Yeah. So even as you are thinking about wealth, you ask yourself sometimes, what does wealth look like to me? So some people will put a dollar sign for wealth, but some people, wealth means for them freedom, freedom to travel and freedom to do. So some persons I've seen people put where somebody's like standing on the edge just waiting to jump off because they felt free knowing that they're wealthy. For some people, wealth means being debt free. So like on night where she has debt free, that's what wealth means. So wealth means so many different things to different people. So there's no dollar amount for wealth. It is it's for some people it is a feeling, it's a place you want to be in life with how you're able to manage your children's education, pay your bills, and have some money leave over. For some people, they have an amount in their head and they can put down that amount on their vision board. But again, ask yourself, what does wealth mean to me? For me to feel wealthy, what does that image of wealthy look like for me? For fame, fame is the question you ask yourself, what do I want to be known for? And this one is right in the center there because a lot of times we leave that one blank because depending on where we are in our lives, we're not quite sure what we want to be known for, you know? And to be known for, it may be as a great mother, it may be a great father, a great business person, a great CEO. It may be that you are a giver and you are a listener, you are a friend, but what do you want to be known for? And again, it is what you want to be known for because, you know, sometimes we start, okay, that's not big enough, you know, that don't sound, but that is actually what you vision for yourself. And when we start making excuses to ourselves from the get-go, we start dumbing down our vision and we start visioning through other people's eyes. This is through your eyes. Vanessa says, I just have goals in my head that I want to accomplish, but right now I'm inspired to create one. Great, Vanessa. No, adventure is the one of those that I love because I struggled with the whole adventure concept. Come here and say, what am I doing that is adventure? Naomi started riding horses because she does polo now. She had a polo session this year. Now, I could say to myself, wow, Nai has found a great adventure and it must look good on a vision board, like to put myself on a horse, but I don't like horse. Not interested in polo. So I have to ask myself, but what does adventure look like for me? So for some of us, it is as simple as being able to go on road trips. Some of us, adventure is just trying something new, dipping ourselves in something new. For me, adventure was very simple because I wanted to jump into something that I was not particularly good at, which was plants. Like me love plants, me love them around me, but I failed miserably at it. So what I did was to switch to what I'm good at, which is researching things and coming up with systems and ways of getting it done, and also surrounding myself with people who know what they're doing and asking a lot of questions and getting help. So a big part of adventure for me was to get into this plant world and this plant life. So again, adventure is going to mean different things to different people. Keep yourself laser focused. You know, like how horses that in horse racing have on a blinker. For this kind of exercise, you have to blinker yourself from what everybody else is doing and ask yourself, for me, what excites me? What does adventure look like for me? Nai, when you decide to jump on horse and start the polo, did you think that that was something that would ever come into your spatial reference?
Never in 100 million years. Ever. It's something that came up through my gym, Spry.
They came up through the working out vision.
Working out at the gym at Spry. And they used to do, before COVID, they had a charity tournament for different things. And every year through that tournament, they would teach maybe 6 to 8 Spry gym members how to play polo so that they could participate in the tournament. You know, we would be the beginners in the tournament to try. And so last year, I started in February of last year. And of course, we didn't have the tournament, which should have been in April because of COVID, but I decided to continue learning and playing because I really, really enjoy the sport. And so it has been something that I actually really look forward to. I played today. That's why I have this sort of slick back hairstyle today. And scored some goals for my team. So it is something that I actually now cannot see as not being a part of my life. And a year ago, that they didn't exist. What was that, Kat?
I said, I'm telling everybody that when they see you at polo, they can call you Emily.
Well, that's the name that Rochelle has given me. That's my polo name. It's Emily. But I love it. And I would never, so I think the thing is to be open to new things, to be open to adventure. I mean, I'm 41 in 2 months. First of all, I'd never even think about going on a horse, much less playing a sport on a horse. So don't be afraid to try new things. You may like it, you might not like it, you may love it. So just be open to possibility, guys. Open to possibility.
Possibility. And one of the things too on your board, so for example, Nai had mentioned her word, which was all in, and her board had something about being ready. And sometimes there are words, there are just some phrases that you may end up seeing, like you're going through a magazine, or nowadays, because we not have no magazine much again, that you may find it online and you can cut and paste. And some of us are very techy, so we can create a virtual vision board. Some of us still have one board where we look on and can touch and feel. So nowadays, you don't have to wait on the magazine. You can actually go and even find that phrasing. So my vision boards always have the scriptures that I always have some go-to scriptures that come to me for a particular year. And I have my base scriptures where I always have to go back to, and I'll just have them on that board. Now, where creativity is concerned, and you may say to yourself, what about all of these things? We talked about balance on one of our, when we were talking, when you guys were asking us questions and we were talking recently, we talked about balance. And what we find is sometimes because we're not kind of balancing and including some things that really ignite us, we end up feeling like things and parts of our lives are missing. Some of the things you will discover and that's the thing, there's no age. So now is going to be 41, I'm going to be 28. There's nothing missing, there's nothing missing. As you go along, you are, sorry about that, guys. Sorry, I can't get it to end.
You just have to end the call, Roshi.
Yeah, I can't get it I couldn't get it to end. Let me just turn
and put it on do not disturb.
We can't do that. Makes that too much work for me. Like we get confused immediately. So creativity. I didn't have anything on my board for creativity. You know why? I always said that I was that person who, I'm no artist. I'm not an artistic person in terms of, drawing and things. But, I said to myself one day, I said, but you have said to yourself, you are not creative. And creativity is not limited to whether or not you are good at art. Creativity is even how you're able to utilize words. Creativity is how you're able to dress. Creativity is baking cookies and the different elements that you add.
When I think of you, when I think of creativity, the first thing that comes to mind is your plants.
You see?
And the second thing that comes to mind is how you dress.
Yeah, certainly.
And the third thing that
That's the
comes to mind
word.
is how you present on stage.
Yeah.
And I would say to myself, but you're not creative. So
And you
see,
know what, guys? Remember, creativity means to create. It's whatever you bring into the universe. That is being creative.
what about you, Kat? What's
Today, guys,
to you?
it's a sequence.
It's a sequence. I'm like, wow. What about you, Kat? What does creativity mean to you?
Oh wow. I guess for me, creativity is really more from a professional perspective, being able to take something from nothing and make them into something more. So creating my brands, building out processes, building out businesses. I think for me, that's where I'm most creative.
Yeah. So that's the thing. When we're thinking of these different
Rush, can I say one more thing too? So
yes,
I also never used to think I was creative because I come from a super creative family. I come from a family of artists, from my great grandmother to my father to my brother. And I just used to always tell people, well, I'm not the creative one, or I'm not creative. And then I realized over time that I actually am creative, not as an artist, but through what I do through PR, through storytelling, or how I do a PowerPoint presentation, or there are other things that make me creative that is not what we would say traditional creativity means. So it's kind of also expanding how we see these words that we actually use to limit our abilities.
Yes. And it's how we see these words that we limit even the images that we use to represent what we want, because sometimes the image look too big and you're like, well, what am I really saying about myself? And that is what you're saying about yourself, that you deserve for these visions and dreams to come to fruition. And in fact, the world deserves your creativity.
Yeah.
The world deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Kat, I'm going to hand spirituality over to you.
Mm-hmm. So
Mama, I can handle it. You know that. You know that.
Yeah.
You know this. But I'm going to hand that over to you, Kat. I'm going to hand that over to you.
So we all know that our spirituality is very personal. And so it's really about what you're trying to achieve in your spiritual walk, whether you're a Christian or whatever, you choose to believe in. So for me, what I try to do is to be very, very specific about what I want to achieve. So I have my morning routine. What does that look like? I want to make sure that I spend X amount of time in meditation or in reflection or in worship or in prayer every single day. And what time every day do I want to do that? I'm a morning person. So when I wake up at 4 o'clock, especially since I can't go to the gym until 5 now, I make sure I block out the time and I wake up earlier. Now I can still wake up at 4. So I wake up at 4 and I block out the time. And I'm very intentional about what I do during that time. Whether I'm going to read one scripture and focus on it, whether I'm going to spend the time praying or listening to praise and worship or whatever it is. But I also am very intentional about how I want to grow spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means, how do I do that? That means surrounding myself with the right people. It means I'm very intentional about what are the things that will help me to grow. Does that mean reading my Bible more? Does that mean doing more studies? Does that mean watching more sermons? Whatever it is that you think is going to be filling, that's going to help you along your journey. Be very intentional about it. If you are into yoga or meditation or whatever else it is that you're into, block out the time and be intentional, but be very mindful of what you're trying to accomplish by, throughout the year. How do you want to grow? And it could be that in one area of my life, I want to be more forgiving. It could be the virtues that you want to work on. I want to be able to release. How do I do that? I want to be able to show love more. How do I do that? I want to be able to be kinder. I want to be able to, whatever it is that we know that's going to help us to grow. I mean, in all areas of our life, we have strengths and we have areas that we're not so strong in. But, going back to what Rochelle said, taking the time to be aware of the things that we want and really being intentional about how we want to improve those areas of our lives.
Yeah. And as we're even thinking through and we're saying, so how do I represent spirituality? So for some of us, after we've thought it through, we may say that it's the image of a Bible that we
Yeah.
would want on our board. For some of us, it's a yoga practice, and it's the image of that yoga practice that we want to have on our board. But again, it is starting with asking yourself the question, but in this non-judgmental way, what does spirituality mean for me? What am I trying to achieve? Where do I see myself? How is spirituality, my really tapping into it? How will it make me feel? Catherine mentioned the release. So I had done a vision board session, and there was a gentleman in the session, and he had a big picture of somebody breaking out, and not broke out, breaking out of like a cage. So I said to him, I said, what does this what is this? And he's like, this is spirituality for me. It is that I need to break out of the cages that are formed. I need to break out of the unforgiveness. So again, sometimes you will find the powerful images, but you also have to ask yourself, because this is a self-examination without judgment. It's just you and your head. Nobody have to hear. And if you have to talk it through, like me, I have to talk out loud and answer myself, because sometimes the head take me. Me talk and me answer back. Do it in a place then that you feel quietly that you can do it. Some of us we need to be in a group. So we may take the information away and say, I need to sit with my girls, or I need to sit with my guys, I need to sit with the family, and we come up with and we do this board together. But allow yourself to ask yourself the question, so for example, now I'm glad you come back with Eros. What does Eros mean to Naomi? What it mean to you, girl? What it mean?
So that's love, right? And that's something very high on my agenda, because I've realized romantic love. I've realized for me, it plays a very big role in me feeling fulfilled on my life journey. Having the right partner to support me and to be a part of that journey with me and for my family, etc. And so you notice on my vision board, I had a whole corner just about love, and I'm very, very intentional about that space. And last year specifically, I took a lot of time to really explore that space. So for me, having it on the vision board is great, and it's a reminder, but then what do I need to be doing to actually get closer to what I have on the vision board? So I knew that I needed to do some work too, and clarity is a very strong word for me in my life, and especially in relationships, about just being very clear. And so I needed clarity as well about what I wanted and how I wanted to feel in a relationship, and not just about, the exterior, what this person looks like, that's important. But there are so many other things that are so much more important. And one of the big things for me was, how do I want to feel in this relationship with this person? And so I did a lot of things to support that by reading a lot of books, specifically about relationships, about relationship styles, the 5 love languages. So I clearly understand what mine is, and I will ask the question, what is yours? Because we don't want to assume. I also participated in a friend. She's a love coach, relationships love coach, and she was doing a beta program for 6 weeks. I took the time to participate in that, and I had to do some deep diving in a lot of areas that I didn't want to look at, but it was so important to move forward by looking back at past relationships. And I even read over Steve Harvey's book, Think Like a Man. Guys, don't underestimate that book. Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. There are some very solid gems in there. And for me, that whole thing about getting clarity, Steve points to some specific things, like not being afraid to ask the hard questions, or not being afraid to say exactly what you want. Because sometimes we find ourselves in these situations with people where we're kind of not showing our true selves. So we hide some of the stuff, and then we think we can reveal it later, or we don't reveal it at all. So even though you're in the relationship, you still don't feel fulfilled because you're not actually being your true self. So I did a lot of work, and I think, every day I'm getting closer to exactly what I want and the space that I want to be in. But it takes time, it takes work, it takes clarity. But having it on that vision board with those key things, like, as I said, it says my whole heart, a new season, this is the biggest love I've ever felt. And just the word love and the picture of the emotions that people feel when they're in love, that's what I wanted. And so those are the things I'm looking for. And if I'm in a space where I'm not feeling or getting that, then I know because of clarity that that's not for me.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Nai.
Thanks. We have to talk about this forever and ever and ever.
No, I know, because with love and stuff, and sometimes we will put something like a ring on a page. But even as women too, we have to ask ourselves, am I ready to be somebody's wife? Like, does my space allow for that? Like, am I?
That's a big thing, because so for example, I have a friend of mine, and she was sharing with me about, another friend who's thought they were ready, and their person now has moved in with them, and they realized maybe I wasn't so ready, right? In Jamaica we say, "See me and come live with me." It's two different things. So, a lot of times we say we want this relationship and we want this person, and then we get them, and then we're like, oh, but I wasn't so ready. Like, we have to share the closet. Like, we have to do some of our things. Like, are we actually really ready to make room for this other person?
Are we ready to make room?
And the sacrifices and the commitments and the negotiating, because it's kind of like a business too. So, you have to know what each person's coming to the table with, and we're being very, very clear about all of that. Girl, Kemoy, I bought like 5 copies of the books, Steve Harvey's book, after I read it, to give to my girlfriends. Okay? That's how impactful it was for me.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. I could go and get my copy right now. So I have a copy that's at my house that's available when people need to borrow. And but I bought 5 additional copies to give to some of my friends.
No, and it is, as we're going through this just the setup of this board and some of the things that we ask ourselves, it is important to have in the back of our heads that it's not a magic board that you're creating. It is setting an intention that sometimes to get to that intention, we realize that there are things about ourselves that we have to work on. I did a session with a good friend who her entire vision board was about marriage and love. And she put like a career thing squeezed up at the bottom. And I was like, how come you just squeeze it up? She said, for the whole of my life, everything has been about career. She is like married, me said 2 children and a dog. And she was like, I'm so focused. So again, as you're doing your boards, and so this is your board.
Yeah.
For you right now, spirituality may be the only thing you're focused on. Wealth may be the thing that you're focused on. Career may be the thing. Relationship may be like the big thing that takes up half of the board.
Yeah.
That's fine, it's your board. Kemoy says, I need to rescue from the back of my closet.
Go rescue it, girl. Go rescue it.
Rescue it. So knowledge is that, that constant educating ourselves. And educating ourselves does not just mean in your chosen career, getting better at your chosen career. It's not just getting the master's or getting the doctorate, but it is that constant educating yourself, that constant filling your brain with knowledge, however it is, whether it's through books, what you're actually taking in from what you're viewing on television or on the internet. I had gone to this thing, and you can look it up. It's futurism, which is the study of the future based on events that are happening now and how things have trends over the past. And I always remember some things from that session. One of them was, by the time you get to 30, you must have a 15-year-old best friend. And everybody was like, Fiwa. And in fact, she went further to say a 15-year-old mentor. So that made it worse. There was a lot of business people in the room, and they were thinking 15-year-olds and going really long. But one of the things she explained is that at 15 is when you are in a choice-making stage. So 15-year-olds have a lot of power, buying power, because they influence their parents, their aunties, and their grandparents. And so they influence what the next generation, because that's the cusp of the next generation, what things they will like. The other thing they said is that whenever you are educating yourself, think of life as this constant university. And you must always not just gravitate to things that you're interested in, but things that you would never be interested in.
Yeah.
So golf is something I never got. I just don't get it. Katie says that she remembers me in my puffy skirt. Anything I'm doing, the first thing I ask is what is the outfit for it? Because that I can kill. I don't need to know how to play the sport. I just need to look good. And I said to myself, why do so many people play golf? Maybe that should be the thing that I start out with that I'm not interested in and educate my brain. But you know, the rationale for it is that when you start also moving towards areas of unfamiliarity, you're actually helping your brain cells, because your head, in Jamaica, we say your head get tough. When you're just focused on even your own area, and you can be like killing it in your area of focus, like you are the best PR chick, you're the best brand leader, but you don't know nothing else. Your head get tough.
Yeah.
So when you're thinking of knowledge, think of like, what are the conversations that I'm currently having? Is it that when I go into a networking situation, like into an unfamiliar space, I get so nervous because I literally have nothing to talk about?
Yeah.
So even when you think of knowledge, my
and you know, knowledge could even be just recommending what to watch on Netflix. That could be like a thing too, you know?
Again, because it is again not limiting it. So some of the knowledge is that we will know a lot about sports, but we have never watched a documentary about wildlife. But we can use how we think about sports and use that in what we know about wildlife. Again, it is expanding just the scope of things that you know about and your interest space. Because a lot of times we are not interested in something because we don't know nothing about it. We see people doing it, we think it fool because we don't know nothing. So we just close it off from our brain. So again, knowledge may be developing your area of expertise, but don't just see it as that. Consider it as this world's university. And think even in that vision board of some new things that you would like to understand and know about. Wellness. I should never speak anything about wellness. I always have an exercise plan that I go hard. You know, when I start out with it, I go hard. I buy some new gym clothes, and I've got a plan. And I make excuses because I say things like work gets in the way and so on. And when I looked at my Jennifer Lopez body that I had on the board, that's what got me. Selena was on last week. That got me to the Selena's program to kind of kickstart me. But Catherine, you actually like get up before, as them say, put on them drawers. As do you, Nye. You have a whole program and you have gym friends, like gym friends.
So even on my vision board, as I showed you, Naomi Campbell is here with her awesome legs. There we go, with her awesome legs. But then below that, I put like healthy things that I should be eating. I'm still working on the healthy eating part. That part is a little bit difficult for me with the meal prepping and that kind of stuff. But I have definitely become more disciplined with my gym routine. So I go to the gym at 5 in the mornings. That means I have to get up at 4:35. That's when my alarm goes off. and I train for an hour. And sometimes I do a hill walk from 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. and then go to the gym. We haven't done that a lot since COVID, but that's a lot. But I have a gym crew, so they keep me motivated and accountable. And I realize accountability is a very big thing for me to actually go to the gym. And then I look on the Naomi Campbell legs, and I also, my alarm, you know what it says? It says, you won't get Naomi Campbell legs by staying in bed. That's what comes up every morning at 4:35, Monday to Friday. So if I need another reminder, it's on my phone as it's beeping and blaring to say, you will not get Naomi Campbell legs by staying in bed. And that's what kind of gets me out of the bed. But I have to do other little things. So like right now, my gym clothes are laid out for me to put on in the morning because I need whatever is the easiest way for me to get out of the house. Because if I can't find the matching leggings, I just not going to go. I just can't bother. And I said, well, I can't find the leggings. Maybe it's a sign I'm not going to the gym today. Or I can't find one of my gloves. Or, you know, gym starts at 5. It's 10 minutes after 5. I guess I should just stay home instead of trying to do at least 45 minutes at the gym. So I have to put things in place to motivate me to actually do the thing. But, you know, the vision board helps because it's there visually. And then I set the reminder in my phone to kind of remind me what I'm doing. And then I like how I look when I see the little gains, I feel excited and it made me want to buy more gym clothes like Rochelle. So I'm now a member of Fabletics, and every month they send me stuff. It's a problem.
It's important that we remember that wellness is not just about our physical wellness. It's about our emotional, mental, you know, and so it's about what we eat, what we put into our bodies, what makes us feel better, not feel good emotionally, but feel better, the things that give us energy. And I mean, when we did our workshop, we were reminded by Natalie that sleep is critical. And for me, that was one of my things that I was going to be very intentional about this year, is sleeping and sleeping properly, because I have a problem where my brain is constantly going. And so I don't get good sleep. I don't get deep sleep. And so I'm tossing and turning and waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I have now started to create a routine to make sure that I sleep better. And a big part of that routine is I'll go to the gym in the morning, but then I'll walk in the evening at 6 o'clock or 5:30, because that actually helps me to sleep better. And so go ahead, Rashi.
I was just saying that's excellent, because we take the sleep part, we don't treat that as so critical. And that's one of my struggles. I say, Erin says, I've merged adventure and wellness. It's adventurous for me to try some new healthy foods and grow veggies at home.
That's awesome.
I love that.
That would be very adventurous for me too.
No, and you guys know I don't fool around the vegetable thing. So I will put it on the board and I eat the things around it. But do you see, I love what Erin has put up there too, because again, it's very personal. So you know that is a big adventure for you. So some people, it is skydiving, but this is trying healthy foods, growing veggies at home, and how important that is.
Rush, to go back to the sleep thing, just a tip. One of the things that I had to do as well was I have a sleep alarm in my phone. So my alarm goes off. Well, it doesn't apply on a Wednesday because we have Emerge, but every other day except Wednesday, my alarm goes off at 9:15, and it reminds me that I have 15 minutes to get in my bed if I'm trying to get the proper amount of sleep I need before my alarm goes off again at 4:30 a.m. or 4:35. And so it's a little prompt for me. I don't have it on the weekends, but I definitely have it every weekday. You'll probably hear it go off while we're in this if it hasn't gone off already. But it reminds me that I need to sleep. As Catherine said, it's so important. And I know one of the things that my gym, Jay, talks about all the time is rest and recovery.
Yeah.
Right? Your body needs to, so even if you are working out, your body still needs to rest and recover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not everybody has a goal. Like I mean, I would love a 6-pack, but I'm realistic. I'm not going to put in the work to get a 6-pack, right? Because that's important to me. What is important to me is to be fit, to know that I'm healthy. And so whatever your goal is, it doesn't matter. Like Rochelle said, it's for you.
Yeah. Because Kat,
And
my
guys, this is
goal has
talking about
nothing to do with fitness or feeling good. Mine is that I want to look amazing in a bikini. Like am I willing to put in the work? Only if I'm going to look amazing in a bikini. Because I just have this vision of myself coming out of, when you're coming out of the water and
slow motion
Yes.
and
and the
the
water is dripping down your back.
out of your ripped body. That's how I look. Me not care if me feel good after that. Can me feel good if me look good. So again, we're all so different, and it's fine.
But you know what else, Rochelle? As we're talking about wellness, something that's super, super important is mental wellness and protecting your mental space. Or, as PP had mentioned in one of our episodes, getting a therapist, right? If you need, to have those kinds of conversations, but especially with what's happening right now with COVID-19, a lot of people are not doing well. I can say for myself, I have some very, very off days where I'm just like, WTF, what is happening? And I don't want to do anything. I don't want to speak to anybody. And I have to put things in place to kind of shift my energy and my mood, whether it's through meditation, like what Catherine suggested, or some of the little things I've been doing every single morning when I come from the gym. I tell Alexa to play some kind of music, whether it's Hillsong worship to start, and then I transition into Beyonce or something. But I realize that I need that music playing because it stimulates me and my brain, and it just puts me in a good space. And I have to burn candles.
Yeah.
So I've now discovered what are they called? Wax melts.
Yes.
So again, I went to Amazon, which as someone is gonna have to just close my account.
We have so many local candle makers though.
No, I didn't buy the candle. I didn't buy the melts. I buy the melts here, but I bought more cute little things to melt the candles on.
Okay.
I just bought like 2 more. I'm sorry. But those things make me happy. It makes I feel good when I walk in and I'm hearing Beyonce and I smell my lovely candles, and it just takes, and I do my morning journaling, and it just takes me into a different space.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that for the people that do need to seek mental help, there are so many online platforms now that you can do it in your house. I used betterhelp.com last year because I definitely needed it, being locked up in a house by myself for however many months. And you get to fill out a questionnaire that speaks specifically to what you want. So for me, I wanted somebody that could relate to my spirituality. I wanted somebody, you get to choose even the gender of the person if you want. You get to interview them if you want. And so there's so many different platforms online. If you don't want to leave your house, or you don't want to, Jamaica is small, you say, I don't want to, I might see somebody that I know. There are a lot of platforms online that you can go to.
And also most psychologists now offer Zoom because of what's happening. So that's even better. But I also want to say one little thing about wellness is that wellness for someone could mean less screen time on social media. Certainly. Because that's another platform that you can wake up. A lot of us tend to, as we roll over, we go to our phone, which is really not a great habit, because you could see something on it that just literally triggers you or throws off your entire day. So you have to be very careful with your screen time, what you follow and who you follow on social media. Because if you realize certain things are triggering you, it's time to unfollow, delete the app, whatever it takes, so that that's not something that's now also, affecting your mental space.
Yeah. But then as you're thinking about wellness, you need to ask yourself the question, what does wellness look like for you? So the wellness may be in the image of a body form. The wellness may be in just a state of somebody that looks healthy and happy and well. That look where you just look nice and clean and well. Yeah. So again, ask yourself at this stage, what does wellness look for me? In one of the sessions, somebody had some numbers for wellness, and it is that they have hypertension. So wellness for them is being able to achieve a particular blood pressure level on a consistent basis. So coming out of that, they started thinking through, what do I need to be doing different? Because I have this number in my head for my blood pressure. So again, what the image does, it reflects what it is you are trying to do, the feel that you are trying to have, the look of what you're trying to have, and then you ask yourself, how do you get there?
You know what's funny, Rochelle? My brother sent me a picture today of my niece Lola, right? They were blowing bubbles around her and her eyes are closed. It almost looks like she's in a meditation. And I feel like I'm gonna print it and put it on my vision board, because it just looks like she's in a state of bliss. And I'll try to see if you can see the picture here. Be right. So
Yeah.
her eyes are closed, her hands are like this, and she's surrounded by bubbles. Right? It's like, wow, that just looks like a state of bliss. And so I'm going to actually now put it on my board, because I would like to feel like that.
Exactly. So again, it is coming to, what does your best life look like? What does happiness look like for you? What does joy look like for you? What does wellness look like for you? Esther mentioned Center Jamaica is a great local therapeutic psychology firm. For some of us to achieve that look of bliss, it requires some work or some things that we have to deal with. But every time we look at that look of bliss, we know what we're trying to get to. So we will make the call that is necessary. And then we have relationships. And notice we break out Eros, the romantic relationship.
Yes.
The relationships generally, and we also break out family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, on my vision board, I have the word sisterhood, because my sisterhood, my sisters, mean a lot to me, and I recognize that when I'm not able to spend a lot of time with them. And you felt that a lot in COVID. So I know a lot of people see relationships different, things that we took for granted with our friendships and so on, and even with our work relationships, where a lot of our work people, no matter how we don't want to admit it, they become friends and family that we miss them.
Yes.
So we see that relationships different. Some of us, it may be represented in a word. Some of us, it may be represented in an image of that. Sometimes too, when you gather with men, when you gather with your man friend them, your friend them, when you can chat about what happened when you were in second form at high school, and you're thinking to yourself, but guys, you're some grown-ass men now. Why are you talking about high school? But let me tell you, sometimes when you see a group of guys gathered, and when they belly laugh about something that happened on the first day of second form, that all of them remember. But they also go back to that space of freedom, because that's what it does. When you sit down with your girls, and sometimes you can't get deep, sometimes you chat some foolishness, sometimes you laugh after that you always have like a set of jokes that you laugh about all the time. And it's there every time you gather. Like, it never gets old, ever.
Yeah.
But it is, again, now, one of the other things with relationships is that we take the step back to ask ourselves, who am I in a friendship? And what would I, not just what I want to get out of a friendship, but who am I in a friendship? So some of us, it may be that we need to reconfigure the role that we play in relationships. For some of us, it is getting what we need to get out of relationships.
I was just also to add to that, since we're speaking about the intention too, is that we have to set the time for it. We have to make the time for these relationships. So, set it in the calendar, so you know that at least once every 2 weeks, you're going to go meet with a friend, or visit, or check in, or do something nice for a friend, or spend time. I mean, I recently got the opportunity to have lunch and wine with one of my friends that we've been meaning to do this for a long time. And what should have been a 1 hour lunch turned into a 3.5 hour lunch, because it was just laughing and chatting and enjoying some wine. But it was so overdue. But I left feeling so good. Like, I just felt like I could have been there forever.
Yeah.
And your body and your brain wants more of that feeling too.
Yes.
So we also have to be very intentional with making sure that we are finding the time, and we're actually putting aside time, blocking time in our calendar. We don't even know what we're doing yet, but we need to block some time in the calendar for nurturing these relationships and these friendships with the people that matter to us. If we haven't learned one thing in COVID, it's about, we now remember that, time is of the essence, and need to reach out to those that we love and be more intentional about actually spending time with them.
Yeah. And Nai, I'm glad you mentioned time, because some of us need to find that word time and put it on the vision board. Because
it's just a clock.
Exactly. It may be just a clock, it may be the word, but we know that time is what we struggle with. Time to dedicate to the things that matter to us, to the people that matter to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Family, Kat, I know you've recently spent a good immersion time with your family after having not seen them for a long time because of COVID.
Yeah. So all of my family lives in the States. I'm the only one in Jamaica. And I got to see my parents and my sister and my niece and my nephew, but I haven't seen my brothers in over a year. And so one thing though that has definitely come to the forefront of our minds is not just, like Nai said, being intentional about the time that you map out. I mean, I communicate with my siblings now more than I ever have. But then we've started to have the conversations around what does the future planning look like for our parents. So it's not just about us at this point. It's also about the long-term planning for the people that we love. So if something happens, who is going to be responsible for our parents and what areas of responsibility are each of us going to take on? It's 4 of us. How is that going to happen? And COVID definitely made it more real. I mean, when my parents got COVID and got sick, at one point we had a scare with my father, and that just sent me into a whole nother tizzy of planning, And so it's like, what would have happened if something real happened? Are things in place in the event that anything happens? And then we've experienced so much loss in our family that, again, that has put life into perspective in a different way. And it shouldn't be that something has to happen for us to think about the future.
Yeah.
And so, even in planning for our families and our children and our whoever it is that you have, I have godchildren. What does that look like? For my insurance policies, for my will, for whatever it is, do I have a long-term plan for if something happens to me, if they're taken care of? And so when we think about family, there's so many elements that we need to consider in thinking about what does the future look like.
Yeah. And also for some of us, it may be that we are ready to start a family.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Create a new family,
Further thing from my mind.
Is it? And we have to be willing to
pick me.
We have to be willing to be truthful. That's what we want. Let me pick Nai. Nai, what do you think about that?
Look, guys, it's on my vision board. I showed you. I have a pregnant planetary on my vision board with the number 2 on her belly, and I have the word family. I have family. I have a family affair, and then I have organic, big and bold and center in there as well. So yeah, it's a very big part of my vision board.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We have to also be willing to indicate that we are ready for the family. Because sometimes we're like, no, nobody knows I'm ready for. You're ready for the family.
Yeah, you're ready. And if we go back to Steve Harvey, that's what he says. Don't go and talk the things. Tell the people what it is you want and what your intentions are. Be very, very clear very early in the game.
And I had actually read somewhere that when you start getting intentional, you are actually saying to God, God, I'm ready for the blessings. Like I'm ready. So even I always tell the story about how I had in my musings, because I had like a private jet on my vision board, because I want to fly first class, but I really just want to fly private. I just want to like fly. I see myself, you know how they have that scarf thing around their neck and they
I see you too, Rochelle. I see you.
I was meant to travel like that. I was
I
meant
see them opening the door for you and rolling out the carpet for you to go onto your jet. I see
On
you.
the
when you come out of the jet door and the breeze blow differently on you, you're just like,
And your scarf is blowing behind you. I
my
see it.
hair, my hair can't blow behind me, so I this scarf I have to have. And you know, as I was going through this magazine and I found two things: new baby, new life. And I cut it out and I put it in one corner, and I also cut out a pregnant belly, but it was a little belly thing, and then they put it one side. And as I was filling out the board and stuff, I was like, what are you saying here, Rush? What are you really saying? And I put the both of them there. And the way that that has manifested to date, I am just like, it's still
Great.
emotional. Yeah. Because
In awe.
the part I was like, yeah. Mhm. And hey, look on that. So again, this is your board, and you know what subconsciously some of the things are that you have that you want to get done, that you want to be a part of your life. And when you see that image, you know it. And when you don't see the right image, you also know it. So I don't think you have to fill out everything over this weekend.
Right.
Some of us we are work in progress.
Yes.
Start with that picture of what joy, that joyous photo of yourself, and put that in at the center, because this is about you. Career, and career is one of those things that and it's funny that that on this board we actually have it at the bottom, because one of the things that I believe you should do is talk through the other things in your life, so that even as you think about your career aspirations, you start fitting that career aspiration into what you wish your life to be. So you want joy in your life. You find that you start looking for work that is more fitting with your creativity, work fitting with your spirituality. So when you start thinking through some of these other things, it starts manifesting in asking yourself, what career do I really want? Where do I want to reach in a business? Do I want to be CEO? Yeah, I want to be CEO. Or no, that's not really for me. I want to be able to have a job that pays the bills so that I can get to do all the things that I love to do. And that again is also okay. And then we wrap up with give back, because you know that's super important to us. That, and give back is not just money, guys. You remember we said sometimes you have to take out that clock and put that you give back is in a lot of instances your time, your willingness to make time
Right.
for people, because it's easier to write a check that takes a couple of seconds. It's easier to do a transfer than sometimes to stop and make time. Catherine, I see you nodding, because I know this
Yeah,
is very
your talent. And you know,
your
for
talent.
me, yep. And when we talk about, and Rushy said she's a tither and I'm a tither. And for me, when I'm thinking about my wealth, I try to give back to the wealth as well, because how I want to give is also going to determine how much money I want to make.
Yeah.
And so if I know I have a goal to contribute X amount of money to a particular thing, then I know that my wealth plan has to be aligned with that.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But yeah, and your talents and your time are so important, and sometimes way more valuable, like Rochelle said, than any money that you could possibly give.
Yeah, and Kimberly says time, talent, and resources.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And pleasure.
So Kat, let's look at
Yeah.
the next slide, which kind of sets out just an example. And this is a vision board that has very few words on it. So again, don't overcomplicate your thing. This is like future travel savings. Do you see the photo of those ladies lying down together in the bed? This is like your sisterhood.
Wine.
You know it. I see knowledge there with the online course. I see adventure with the scuba diving. I see fitness.
Yeah.
I see spirituality. Yeah. I see also the vision of how you want a space to look. That image of that person being watered is just so powerful, you know. And the image of the target that you are actually setting out for. I'm setting targets. So again, this is just an example that you don't need to have a word for everything and a picture. See, a mother and her kids, it may just be that what you want is more time, but not just time, but time where you are enjoying your children. So again, just wanted to give you another example of a board, just in case you're wondering how to find images. And I have some of things going on. And some of us, again, my board is very chock up. It is very chock up. That's how I like chock up things. I like olipa things. So I chock it up with all kind of things on it. Things. So I have my board could be with an organization, but I know my board is my board. It's reflecting of what was in my head at a particular time, and I'm still going for it. And so again, focus on you. This is about you. And as you're looking for images, some of us will stay up tonight and do it. Some of us, it's going to take us another month to do it. But I encourage you to take the time, this reflection time for yourself. But as you're setting some pace for what is to come. Kat?
Yes. Wow, Roshi, that was excellent. That was a lot, but so necessary. And so, guys, at the end of the day, what we want you to remember is that your vision board is extremely personal. It's something that you have to spend the time to do, regardless of what anybody else thinks or how anybody else feels. It's extremely personal. All the different areas that Rochelle and that we went through tonight are just to help guide you to the different areas of your life that you can look at. And like Roshi said earlier, you can focus on one area, you can focus on two areas. Wherever you want to spend your energy, it's completely up to you. It's personal. So don't feel like you have to live up to somebody else's expectations. And it's important to also set attainable goals, right? So don't overwhelm yourself by thinking that I want to lose 100 pounds in a year. Not to say that it's not doable, but you can start, whatever it is, make sure that they're manageable goals, because you can always review and reassess and change it. So you can even do a vision board for the first 3 months if you want to. And then just like this, at the end of the quarter, you review it, say, okay, these are things that are still important to me going into April, and these things I don't care about anymore. And so I'm moving in the direction of the things that are now more important to me.
Start where you are.
Just remember that your vision, exactly, start where you are. It's extremely personal and it's only for you.
And also I'd say, don't feel away if your vision board that you did in 2019, like me, you're still trying to achieve the things. I didn't do a new one in 2020, and I didn't do a new one in 2021.
2017, my God.
Wow. I have others from before as well, and they're still on my wall.
Exactly.
But just saying all of that to say that it's okay, right? So take your time. And sometimes these things, guys, that we write down and set it and forget it, they pop up when we least expect it, many years later. So be very careful about what you are manifesting, because words have power, creative visualization has power, and there are books on that too. I actually have the creative visualization book, and I also have the Magic of Thinking Big. Steve Harvey had recommended it at an event that he spoke at as well, and all of that is about the power of visualization. I mean, there's a secret as well. So these things, manifestation and visualization and being intentional, it actually holds real power. So you have to just know what you're doing as well, and be ready. As we said, can't put these things down and we're not ready.
Yeah. Erin says we can celebrate the small victories on the way to the big goals. Erin,
Yes, I love that.
I love that, because sometimes we are beating ourselves up. Like, in fact, to get to the goal, you have to make some steps, and you've got to celebrate each step. The one thing I didn't have on the board, and you guys, I was like, I only never remember that. My money jar, my gratitude jar dropped. So I'm gonna have to get. Now, there's a thing that I also like to have on a board. I call it the just because. No explanation needed, no rationale needed. For some people, it's a big, pretty car. For me, it's a Hermes bag, the Hermes bag. I just want a Hermes bag. I think I feel really my best self. I really do
You feel fulfilled?
my best self with my Hermes bag. I don't need to explain it to nobody. If
I
everybody
agree.
foolishness. Again, you got to, as you are, we talk about this best self. Ask yourself the question, what does my best self
What
look
does
like?
that mean?
And do not explain, excuse, or apologize. On that
So
vision board too, you
when
gotta
Oprah used to have her magazine, she had a section called Live Your Best Life, right? And it was inspiration, motivation, celebration. And there was always a section in the magazine that has that. So that's why I was able to cut this part out. But as Rochelle says, what does that mean to you? Because it means something different to everybody.
everybody.
Living your best life could be getting 8 hours of sleep.
No, no joke,
Sleeping is like, guys, let me tell you something. Even before COVID, I used to look so forward to Friday nights because you see, by 6 o'clock, I would already be in my pajamas. I would have put on my nice, sweet smelling lotion, something with shea butter or whatever. My candles would be lit. I would have something to drink by the bed. And then I would fall asleep watching Netflix. And that was like the best Friday night ever. That's living my best life.
Yeah.
So,
guys, you know that I used to, when I
Friday night get me excited.
No, me too, because when I used to tuck in on a Friday night, I used to tuck in, and when I go bed,
Tuck right in.
My nighty.
Yeah, man.
Nothing on the road that you have that I need to do, and I don't emerge until Saturday.
I'll go on Saturday night. But
no,
Friday night,
like on Saturday, I used to go and get my hair done between 1 and 2 o'clock. So it's funny because again, the things that become your best life over time. So last night, Christian
listen, getting brand new pillows, that's a part of my best life. Notice when you get brand new pillows? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So again, too, you do have to ask yourself, for me, forget everybody else for a moment. This is what joy looks and feels like. When I see this person, I want to have that look on my face. This is what it looks like. This is what matters to me. And really start with those questions. Lauren says, so inspired to start. No, thank you for this. So important to be intentional so that you achieve your goals. Having a visual is key. Thank you again. Thank you for joining us. Janelle says top tier content. Lord Janelle, thank you. And you Erin said about celebrate the small victories. Alisa, I have to go write it down. So Alisa will add that to the vision board. And guys, encouraging you, celebrating small victories. Sometimes we have to have, how on sports day, and those of you who grow in Jamaica, you know how sports day is. You always have some houses, but our sports day, you have purple house, orange house, and them. Catholic got one purple, so blue house meeting in a Sanders house.
I was in shock.
But you know what you had to do to
I just rolled my eyes slowly for everybody.
Anyway, because I love sports day, and I am no athlete, but I love it. But to win at sports day, you had to be in every event. You had to actually stay the course. And you have to be able to celebrate each event. So Lyman Spoon is just as big as 100-meter. It's a half point.
True.
We have to see our lives that way. That we have to do some little things sometimes to get to the end game. And we celebrate the little step that we make. Sometimes the little step is to take out a piece of paper, a foam board, and put it in front of us to start that intention. And we have to clap ourselves. For some of us, coming on the show tonight is the first step towards that best life. And tonight we celebrate you. We celebrate you for investing your time, for taking your time this Wednesday evening to come with us, to share this content, to share this thought with us. And we celebrate you.
You know what?
Carrie said many people know that she needed a vision board, so she's gonna start hers right away.
Hey, Carrie, I remember when I had just started, when I met with Naja Peterkin about my saving, becoming debt free, and investing, right? Those three things. And I remember when I told her I had cleared one of my credit cards, and one of the things Naja had suggested was, you should buy yourself something. And I was just like, but I just cleared my credit card. She said, yes, but you accomplished something really, really big, and that's really great. I'm not saying go and buy 10 pairs of shoes, but
Right.
maybe
Don't max out the credit card.
one pair of shoes just to say, congratulations, Naomi, you did it. Because when you celebrate the wins, it makes you want to have more of that feeling. So, you know, I was just like, oh, okay. So now I kind of do it. So even if let's say I get a big contract for something for work, or even a small contract, or a new project, then I'll think about what can I use a little bit of this money to do something really nice for me to, you know, reward myself for accomplishing this thing. So yes, I don't go overboard at all, but I always hear Naja in the back of my head, so I always try to now do even a little thing to do that. What is on the hair?
Marisa, bless you.
I'm gonna use that nay optimistic.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And you know, guys, you know, as Nai says, I don't shame to say that I have a prize giving almost every day. I don't stop to reward myself and to clap myself. Sometimes when I'm in the mirror talking to myself, you know, I'm like, you got through your things to do list today. I'm like, who's awesome? Who is awesome like you? Who is awesome? Who is great at time management? I'm like, I need to do a course. It's just one day. I need to do a course on time management because I am a professor of time management. Because there are those days that I can't get through this stuff. And I can't beat myself. I can't just walk up and on and beating up myself. So when I get it good, you know, I find something good that day that I just
milk it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, guys.
Wow. Guys, thank you so much for joining us for our season 3 and for being with us for an entire year. We are so grateful that you have chosen to spend your Wednesdays with us. Thank you and welcome again to those of you that are joining us for the first time or that have just started watching us. Like I said earlier, you can go back and watch all of season 1, all of season 2, and now all of season 3 to catch up. It's really, you guys have been so motivating for us. You are why we look forward to coming here every single Wednesday, and we are so grateful for you. We have a lot in store for this year, and season 4, you'll get to hear all about it. But in the meantime, you get to watch us, follow us on all of our platforms at Ready to Emerge. You'll see all the exciting things that we have coming up, because we are going to be doing some things in between now and season 4. So just stay tuned, follow us on all of our platforms at Ready to Emerge, and send us a message. You can email us, readytoemergenow@gmail.com. You can DM us. You can send us messages. We'll also be sending out our book recommendations like Nai has promised. And we'll be posting some of them online too. So you can follow us to get all of that information. And we look forward to seeing you again next season.
Guys, if you want to also see the picture of Baby Bliss, you can go over to Naomi Garrick on Instagram. It's going to make your whole night. I promise.
Yes. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And Lorianne asked, when is season 4? So Lorianne, we will announce next week because we have a lot of announcements.
Lorianne is ready. She wants to put it in her calendar.
Yeah, so we are launching some new segments, and so in season 4, so we're just kind of stepping back a little to put those together. Because you know, we have to come back and we have to switch it up and we have to add to it and we have to spice up the pot. But guys, it's been, I cannot believe it's one whole year.
Yeah. Guys, I'm gonna wear more sequins to this thing because I feel like it just gave me a different energy tonight.
Yeah. Sequins are you? I wore big earrings today, but I find that when I do that, it feels like I have hair.
Me too. Keisha always complains about that because when I wear like my big yellow earrings, it's like I feel like
And she's splashing.
I just feel that way. Maybe I need to consider growing back my hair. I don't know.
Keisha is online, by the way. Keish, we miss you.
Yes. So Althea asked if we rebrand. Althea, all kind of things.
We're doing all kinds of nice things. All kinds of so just make sure you don't miss it.
Yeah. So please follow us on all our pages so that you can be at our launch of season 4 because it's gonna be huge. Huge.
But enjoy. Happy Easter to all of you who are celebrating.
And blessed and holy Easter.
And guys, let me just say something. I know a lot of people are talking about this lockdown thing and oh my God, the lockdown, but just think about what could you be doing during this time that you didn't have the time to do before. Like creating your vision board, like watching Detour Essentials Live, like whatever it is, reading a book that you've always wanted to read. So let's try and look for the positives out of lockdown. Cook something from a recipe, phone online, figure out, do stuff that will make you happy and feel fulfilled. So when you come back to work on Tuesday, you're just in a whole different space.
A whole different space, yes. So guys,
thank you. We won't say bye. We'll say see you later.
Yes. Not to do it like now.
Oh
yes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.